Hello, my name is Anne, and today I'm going to walk you through some of the new hardware and software that Apple will most likely unveil on the upcoming event on September 12th. So, as tradition here on Apple's events in September for the past 10 years, we already know, really well that Apple's is definitely going to unveil new iPhones, iPads, new Apple Watches, and most likely new Macs as well. So today let's go ahead and walk through the and have a little roundup on what they look like and most importantly what the leaks tells us. So the first devices that I really want to tell you is the new iPhones. Uh, the iPhones last year, Apple unveiled three iPhones. The two standard iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus, and a 10th anniversary iPhone 10. Well, this year Apple will still unveil three models, but the formula will be a bit different because Apple will be unveiling two iPhone models, high-end iPhone models, and one mid-range model, something that Apple has not done for 5 years since the iPhone 5C. And talking about the iPhone mid-range model, I will talk about that later. But now let's focus on these three new iPhones. First of all, the name. The iPhone 10 has been confirmed by Apple itself, and of course some other like 95 Mac and Mac rumors also reported and quoted that the new iPhone's name will be the iPhone 10s, the iPhone 10s Max possibly, and the iPhone mid-range model or possibly the iPhone 9. We're not sure about the name of the mid-range model. Could be iPhone 9, iPhone 11, iPhone 10C. 10C is kind of makes more sense, but again, it's just rumors. The 10s and 10x Max has been confirmed by both Apple, so take that with a grain of salt. The new three iPhones this year will all have a notch design, and of course Face ID since they are ditching the home button, thus Touch ID. In terms of the screen size, the iPhone 10s will still have a 5.8-inch screen like the iPhone 10 last year, with the resolution of 1125 by 2435 with a pixel density of 458 pixels per inch. And the 6.5-inch model, or the 10x Max, will have a higher 1242 by 2688 at the same 458 pixels per inch. Kind of translates to around 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio, and of course they will have OLED models. I'm talking about the two high-end models. They will have an OLED panel. The Max model will, since it has a bigger 5.5-inch screen, 6.5-inch screen, will have some software tweaks to make it to utilize that enormous screen by having horizontal apps. But we're still not sure about whether that model will have side-by-side apps, like split screen multitasking, because we really want that on the iPhone 10, but Apple still hasn't implemented that. The Max model will be thicker than the iPhone 10s at 7.85 millimeters compared to around 7.7 millimeters. In terms of form factor, they will be very similar to the iPhone 10, as evidenced by the S badge, because the S means speed in the past, meaning that the S is just an incremental update and design to the previous iPhone. So in terms of form factor, it's going to be very similar. You won't tell the difference. You won't tell the difference between the iPhone 10 and 10s, maybe unless you look at S badge or maybe the new colors. Talk about new colors. This year, Apple will unveil the iPhone 10s and 10s Max in gold. Right, we really want that gold color since the iPhone 10, and due to some issues with production and the stainless steel, they haven't been able to make the iPhone 10s and XS Plus in that gold color. But this year, Apple will definitely do that. The good thing on the front, talk about the front first, is that the bezel on the iPhone 10 and XS Max will be thinner. I mean, it's already very thin. You know, looks very enormous, very stunning. But this year, it's gonna be even thinner. Um, and the notch. Let's talk about the notch. It will stay the same size as the previous iPhone 10. But the good thing is that since the 10s Max stays the same notch as the iPhone 10s, it will actually have more screens real estate on both the side of the notch. That's a good thing. So enough about the outside. Let's talk about the inside. The iPhone 10s and 10x Max, and possibly the 6.1-inch iPhone 10C will be powered by the new Apple A12 chip. The new A12 chip will be the first 6nm chip that Apple's ever produced, so it's going to be very powerful and in the same time very power efficient. It will be coupled with an extra RAM at 4GB. You know that if you've been watching PhoneBub style speed tests, you know that the iPhone 10 really struggles with RAM management. It lost the OnePlus 6 and the Note 9 and the S9 Plus just because it has poor RAM management. But this year, I hope that Apple will spice things up a little bit. Some sources, like reputable sources, have also gave out a traditional benchmark on Geekbench, and the A12 chip is likely to score 13,000 on the multi-core score on Geekbench. That would be a record-breaking score. I mean, the iPhone 10, like the current iPhone 10 Geekbench score is already a record, right? Like I heard that the rumors of the next Snapdragon 855 is actually on par with the iPhone 10's 11 Bionic chip in terms of the Geekbench score. But this year, Apple's gonna even take it to another level. Another good thing for some of you Indians or Chinese out there who loves dual SIM, the iPhone 10x Max will support dual SIM, and that's very good news. Well, I really have no clue about eSIM, but probably that's also be implemented as well. I heard that Apple might go with the semi-dual SIM, like one SIM and eSIM. That could be the case. So that's enough on the specs. In terms of battery life, the iPhone 10x Max will hold at around 3300 mAh battery to a 3600 mAh battery, and that's going to be huge. Considering that Apple's standby time has always been the best, it's no surprise that the new iPhone 10s Max would definitely hold its own. The 10s will most likely stay at the same 28 to 2900 mAh battery. That's it for the new iPhone 10s and 10x Max. In terms of price, it is a good news. The 10s will drop from $999 to around $799, and that's a huge good news for consumers. $999 last year with the iPhone 10 was considered overpriced. It is a good phone, but it was, not value for money. Well, this year Apple will price the 10s most likely at $799 or $800 in the United States. And that 10x Max will will have a price tag of around $999, which is the same as the 10 last year. And it will come in 3 storage options: 64 gig, 256 gig, and a new whopping 512 gigabyte. The first one with a 512 gigabyte has got to be the Note 9, and the iPhone 10s will definitely follow that suit. In terms of the camera, both still have dual cameras. One with optical zoom, one with regular zoom, 12 megapixel stuff. With of course enhanced lens and better image processing, and of course what will cover iOS 12. So that's it for the iPhone 10s and 10x Max. Let's turn our attention over to the iPhone XC, the mid-range model. This one will have a 6.1-inch model, which will be the same between the iPhone XS and XS Max. But surprisingly, the resolution on the iPhone XC is most likely to be very low at 828 by 1792. That's between 720p and 1080p. I mean, I really don't want to believe in this benchmark, but that it is what it is. It is pretty disappointing. But I really don't. I really cannot count the ppi density, but it should be around 200 ish pixels per inch, which is okay. But for a 6.1-inch screen and for that price, it is should be a little bit higher. Now, what is the difference between it and the rest of two OLED models? First of all, it will have an LCD panel. Yeah, it will have an LCD panel, and will still have a notch. So it will not have the deep blacks. It will not have vibrant colors. But I really don't mind all of that. It will stay the same thickness as the iPhone XS, and it will still have a notch and Face ID, and will not have Touch ID. Since it's the iPhone XC, and the C in the past stands for color, I believe that Apple will be releasing the iPhone XC in a variety of colors. It's been predicted, it's been confirmed by 95 Max, Mac Rumors, etc. Even Everything Apple Pro, that the new 6.1-inch model comes in red, blue, orange, white, black, all kinds of colors you can think of, just like the previous iPhone XC. 10C, right, the 5C. The 5C was a plastic back. The iPhone XC this time, most likely iPhone 9, iPhone XC, whatever, will still have a glass back. But the difference here is in the side, as the iPhone XC will have an aluminum frame instead of a stainless steel frame like the iPhone XS. Just to cut cost. Another difference with the iPhone 10, iPhone 9 or 10C is in the cameras. The iPhone XC will not have a dual lens camera. It will have a single lens at 12 megapixels, so no portrait mode, no optical zoom whatsoever. I mean, I know people who kind of want that dual lens for portrait mode. So that kind of comes under disappointment. In terms of specs, it will most likely have the A12 chip with only 3 gigs of RAM, not 4 gigs. But some sources says that the iPhone XC might sport a 2-year-old A10 Fusion chip. I really don't want to believe in that. Really don't want to believe in that rumors, because the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus right now is sold for like $500 out of in Apple website right now, and this one I'll talk about the price later. It's priced a little higher, so it doesn't really make sense that it will have an A10 Fusion chip. So hopefully that's not the case. It will also have dual SIM, and it will price at a very reasonable $699. That is replacing the iPhone 8 last year, which also priced at $699. And it will come with 64 or 256. I'm not sure about 512GB though. So that's it for the iPhone series this year. Let's talk briefly about the iPad and the Apple Watch. The iPads will have this year, for the first time, the iPad is going to go bezel-less, right? It will come in 2 sizes, 11-inch and 12.9-inch, and it will have an almost edge-to-edge display. It is not that it is like on the iPhone 10, because Apple, since the iPad's kind of needs a bit of a grip on the sides, Apple will still have a bit of a bezel. But it is going to be much less than, say, the current iPad Pros. And of course, it will not have Touch ID, and thus it will have Face ID. A sad news is that the iPad will actually ditch the headphone jack. Well, that's the first one for a tablet, right? So It will come with the A11 or A12X chip. Will be even a step up from the A12 chip on the iPhone XS, the 6nm chip. And that's what we know about new iPads. You can find some of the images of the iPads on iOS 12 beta code. There are actually some traces of the new iPads coming soon. And then lastly, I want to talk about the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch will, like the iPad, will go bezel-less. It will go much edge to edge than any previous Apple Watch. The Series 4, yeah, the Series 4. It will have a bigger screen. Still retains the same 38mm and 42mm, and but it has a much bigger screen, as you know that. And the UI, it's much bigger. Has a utilizer that bigger screen sizes, so that's only come true. And most likely that most of your bands for the Series 3, Series 2, Series 1 will still support the Series 4. So that's what we have about the new Apple Watch. So that's what we can expect in Apple's event. There might be more like the new MacBook Airs, the new Mac Minis, but that might be delayed to October's event. So we could expect that. So that's it for my expectations on Apple's event on September 12th. What are you excited most about? Let me know in the comments down below. Anywho, thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. If you do find it useful, click the like button down below, and then don't forget to subscribe. Share this video to social media sites, and also comment for future videos. Thank you, and goodbye.